welcome to my first illustrated ghost story of 2021. Happy New Year. I hope you've had a lovely Christmas, a lovely New Year, and that you are pumped and excited for 2021. It's going to be a good year. It's going to be a good year because I say so. So welcome back to my stories. It was a little bit longer of a break than usual, but these things happen. I'm not going to go into it. These things happen. That's all right. That's fine. We're back now. So today I'm going to tell you the story of the severed arm of Overwater. That's right. It's a dramatic one today. And it's actually set in Overwater Hall and Overwater Tarn. So one ghost story set in two locations. How can that be? Well, we're going to find out today, guys. We're going to find out today. So we're setting this tale at Overwater Hall. This is based in Ireby in the Lake District, and Overwater Hall still stands today and is actually a hotel. So the pretty exciting thing about this is you can go and stay here, you can go and stay where the story is set. It's not only a hotel, it's in a load of nice woodland, it's in the lakes, and it's dog friendly. So it's now jumped top of my post-lockdown to-do list, and it's where I want to go next. So Overwater Hall was built by Joseph Gilbanks, and in 1814 he bought what was then the Whitefield estate and the estates that surrounded it. And I'm not bitter about it or anything, but Joseph Gilbanks was the same age as me when he bought all this estates, so not bitter, just thought I'd point that out. It's the same age as me buying all these estates. And where used to stand Whitefield House on the Whitefield estate, Joseph Gilbanks built what is now Overwater Hall. He had made his money by sailing to Jamaica at the age of 20, and on his pursuit of riches he married Mary Jackson, who was the niece of the chief of justice in Jamaica at the time. So him and Mary came back to the UK in 1814 with all this money and built the Whitefield estate and built Overwater Hall. Now Overwater Hall has quite the history, and we are going to meet a few of its occupants. But for now, we are going to start with the story of Joseph Gilbanks and Joseph's mistress, which is where our ghost story begins. So it is said that Joseph had taken a mistress in Jamaica, and when he moved back to the UK with his wife Mary, the mistress had tracked him down from Jamaica to the UK, found Joseph, and said that she had given birth to his child, which is obviously a huge scandal. So it was said that upon the mistress tracking him down and hearing this news, Joseph took the woman out to the lake and attempted to drown her. So he took her out on his boat and attempted to drown her. Now, this is the grisly bit of the story, so fast forward a little bit if you don't want grisly details. If you don't want grisly details, don't look. I'm drawing a severed arm. So I'm going to tell you the story. So he took the lady out in the boat, attempted to drown her, and it said that she tried to climb back into the boat. And it was at this point that he chopped off her arms as she tried to climb back into the boat and left her in the lake to drown. So yeah, not a nice man, not a nice story. Joseph was never charged with this murder, but it is said that it was sort of known around town. It was known locally that this had happened. And from this point on, it was said that in the house in Overwater Hall, a ghost is spotted throughout the property, and it's the ghost of a black woman with no arms. And there's an account of this that is written by another resident in the house who seemed to have bought the house drunk. I think I read somewhere. I don't know, slightly eccentric, but you always are if you own a mansion in Britain, aren't you? So this house was bought by a chief of police, what am I saying? A chief constable, I think it was, called Charles Norman de Courcy Parry, I think is how you pronounce it. It might not be right. So he was something of a celebrity. Anyway, so this is just I think he bought the house in 1930s, and he was famous for apprehending and shooting and killing a famous wartime criminal who was a sort of murderer and imposter active during the First World War, who became very famous after murdering a taxi driver and wounding a police officer who tried to capture him, and a manhunt began, and it was our Overwater Hall resident, Parry, that allegedly caught and shot and killed this guy. He didn't get done for this murder because it was deemed to be justifiable homicide, but it meant that he was something of a celebrity, and he at some point began writing for Horse and Hound magazine, and he wrote in Horse and Hound magazine about Overwater Hall and about the ghost. And so this lake and house that he bought when he was drunk, he recounts the story of the ghost that allegedly lives there, and he talks about the ghost of a black woman who'd met her sad ending by being drowned, although he says that she'd been drowned in the lake at the bottom of the garden of Overwater, and it was by her husband. So obviously this is a different story to the one that we're getting today. So he said it with her husband, but again he accounts this story of a horrid deed, is how he calls it, where a wife was taken to the lake, tried to be drowned. When she tried to climb back into the boat, this guy took her hands and left her. And the way that Parry wrote it was, you know, as she clutched the side of the boat, then the brute up with a chopper and cut off her hands, and down she went to the pike and weeds, bubble, 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 goodbye, which is how he said it. And then he goes on to detail about how this spirit is spotted around the house and has terrified a great many people, and that is so frightening, mainly because of the lack of hands is the things that is scary to people. It's not just that she's a ghost, it's that she's quite a terrifying, grisly looking ghost. And that they had to build cottages at the bottom of the drive for the house where the servants could sleep in peace because they could not get rest in the house with this apparition going. So I mentioned before about two ghosts, or one ghost in two places. I've not quite decided myself the right way to say it, and you might be wondering why for an armless ghost I am drawing a very distinct arm here on the paper, and that's because it said that a severed arm haunts the lake itself, so that this story has happened, the same connected story, the same poor connected woman, this mistress of Joseph Gilbanks, that her arms have remained to haunt the lake itself, and that the lake never freezes. And the reason that the lake never freezes is because when it starts to get icy and something starts to form on the surface, the severed arm that haunts the lake will ball its fist up and punch through the ice and prevent it from forming. So that, ladies and gentlemen, is how you get one ghost in two locations. I hope that you've enjoyed my story today. It was a bit of a grisly one. I wanted to do something that was an interesting story. I thought this was an interesting story. I also wanted to do something a bit wintry. You can see I've got my little winter setup that I've put here, because I like to try and stay thematic to the time of year that we're in, and I enjoyed doing my festive ghost stories. Obviously, if you've not seen my other videos, go and have a look at my channel now, and there's a few there that you can watch. And if you want to be notified about more videos that I've got coming up, then remember just to like and subscribe, and you will get notifications each time I do these videos. I am still aiming at doing them every 2 weeks, every fortnight, so I hope that you've enjoyed them. If you've got any suggestions, drop them down below and let me know, but otherwise I'll see you next time. Thanks very much. Okay, bye.